Hello, friends. I'm just checking to see if the audio sounds okay. I don't know if it sounds good. I was trying to see. Maybe I'm stupid. Let me see if this one. I want to see which one sounds better of these. Give me a second. Is this better? I can't tell. Wait, this sounds like this would be quieter. Oh, wait, that sounds better, right? I think this sounds better because it sounds like the feed is gone, maybe. The background noise is potentially gone. Okay. Okay. We're gonna try this. Because the other mic I was using, it was irritating me. Okay. And I'm gonna pull myself out of my ear because it is really distracting hearing yourself with like a 10-second delay. Alrighty. So, I'm back very soon. I didn't get a stream as long yesterday as I wanted to, and it worked out that I got to stream again today. There was a good collection of time, thankfully, so here I am again, and I think I'll be able to stream for about 2 more hours today. Not super long, but hopefully that works out. And yeah, I'm also gonna put on a little bit of perfume really quickly because I have some samples that I've been trying. I ordered from a little sample store called Sucre Decants, because they had some stuff from some different brands I was interested in, and this one is Sugar Milk Co. Butter Croissant, and I've been trying. I like to try perfumes on my skin. I don't really give a whole lot of, I guess, opinion to what perfume smells like on a paper strip, because I think it's gonna smell quite different on my skin versus how it smells on paper. So I do like to try everything on my skin before I make any decisions on it. Anyway, so I like to just put everything right on my skin if I can. Okay. Anyway, we're actually organizing the TBR today, and please load. Okay, and this is the page we're on. I haven't done anything since last time I was on here, so and let's just get to it. And I haven't read at all since the last time I streamed. I'm smelling the perfume. I don't think it smells like a croissant, but I'll have to reflect more on it. So, minimum wage magic, I realized is not supposed to be read until after. I was looking at it, same world as the Heartstrikers 20 years later. I haven't finished the Heartstriker series, so I don't know, maybe I should just delete this off of my TBR and I can add it again later, because I've only read the first 3 books of Heartstrikers. I really do like this series a lot. Been slowly working my way through it. I'm very bad at reading through series. So, still have to read book 4 and 5. Heartstrikers is, like urban fantasy, kind of dystopian a little bit. Like it's set in the future, and everybody, um, that's following somebody who is a dragon and he's sealed in his human form, and he's like, I'm 3 books in. It's been a long time since I've read the first book, so I don't really remember what happens in the first book too much. But kind of like magical creatures have taken over, and humans are no longer like the top of the food chain. And I've really enjoyed it, but apparently this minimum wage magic is not readable. So I was looking at Rachel Aaron's books in publication order, and maybe that would be the best way to read through her books. So I do want to read this series, The Legend of L.A. Mompress, and I do have that on my TBR. But then Heartstriker, I've read the first 3 books, want to read the 4th book, and then the 5th book, obviously. And then I guess I can start these series. But I think I should delete books off of my TBR until I finish the current series. It's not like anyway. So I think I'm okay to delete that one, and then when I finally finish Heartstrikers, I'll come back to it and re-add it, because this has been sitting on my TBR for 5 years, almost 6 years, just bulking up my numbers for no reason. When I think at that point I had only read like the first book in this Heartstriker series or something. Anyway, man, I'm such a yapper. Okay, The Order of the Pure Moon Reflected in Water. I really like Zen Cho. I've read 2 of her books and I really liked them, and then I haven't read anything else, so I really want to read this, even though I have absolutely no idea what it is. Oh, I didn't know it was queer. Okay. Zen Cho returns with a found family. Oh, I don't know what this word is. Martial arts and chivalry is a genre of Chinese fiction concerning the adventures of martial arts. Okay. How do you say that? Wuxia? Wu? Wu? Wuxia. Wuxia. Wuxia, maybe? I don't know. newfound family wuxia fantasy that combines the vibrancy of old school martial arts movies with characters drawn from the margins of history. A bandit walks into a coffee house, and it all goes downhill from there. Guit Im, a young Votari? Another word I don't know. A person such as a monk or a nun who has made vows of dedication to a religious service. Votary. Of the Order of the Pure Moon joins up with an eclectic group of thieves, whether they like it or not, in order to protect a sacred object, and finds herself in a far more complicated situation than she could have ever imagined. This sounds incredible, and it's a novella, which I love. So it's a fantasy, historical fiction, and LGBT. Ugh, so good. Okay. I should definitely prioritize that. I meant to get to it last month, honestly, because one of the prompts for Magical Readathon was to read a book with an author from a randomly generated country, and the country that I got and chose was Malaysia. And Zencho is Malaysian, but I didn't end up getting around to that prompt, but I'll see if I can get to it this month. This one is I don't know if I'm actually interested in this one. I was interested in reading it because Kayla from Books and Lala really loves this one and has talked about it, but I don't know. I don't know if it really sounds interesting to me, so let's read through it. When August learns that his best friend Jack shows signs of degenerative hallucinatory disorder, he's determined to help Jack cope. Jack's vivid and long-term visions take the form of an elaborate fantasy world layered over our own, a world ruled by the Wicker King. As Jack leads them on a quest to fulfill a dark prophecy in this alternate world, even August begins to question what is real or not. August and Jack struggle to keep afloat as they teeter between fantasy and their own emotions. In the end, each must choose his own truth. It actually does sound quite interesting. Another thing that is making me hesitate is that I did read another book by Kate Ingram and I really didn't like it, The Weight of Stars. I don't even remember what I didn't like about it, but I just really hated it. So yeah, I didn't write any sort of review. I read it apparently in June 2021, and I don't have a date in there, so but this is one that Kayla also loves. She just loves Kate Ingram's book, so I'm like, I don't know if Kate Ingram is for me, and I'm scared to pick up her books after not liking that one. So I don't know. It does sound interesting. I'm like, maybe I should just give it a try. But also, I'm not reading as much YA. But when I do enjoy YA, oftentimes it does have to do with like mental health, and I do like a book with like a speculative twist, so maybe I will like it. So like fantasy, LGBT, and romance. Sylvia Moreno Garcia is an author that I feel like I'm gonna love, but I've only read one book by her and I just DNF'd it. So, I don't know, but I have so many of her books on my TBR. I really, really, really want to read, not even Gods of Jaden's Shadow, that's one of the ones I care the least about, but I really want to read The Beautiful Ones, and The Bewitching is one that I've actually been really interested in since it came out. And like the pre-release has sounded really interesting, but even some of the ones that I haven't added to my TBR because I was like, I can't add all of her books to my TBR. Since I've tried to read one of her books and I DNF'd it. So I don't know. I think I'm just gonna keep a bunch of them on there and then maybe I'll pick one of them up eventually, but the Mayan god of death sends a young woman on a harrowing, life-changing journey in this one-of-a-kind fairy tale inspired by Mexican folklore. The jazz age is in full swing, but Cassiopeia Tunn is too busy cleaning the floors of her wealthy grandfather's house to listen to any fast tunes. Nevertheless, she dreams of a life far from her dusty small town in southern Mexico. A life she can call her own. Yet this new life seems as distant as the stars until the day she finds a curious wooden box in her grandfather's room. She opens it and accidentally frees the spirit of a Mayan god of death, who requests her help in recovering his throne from his treacherous brother. Failure will mean Cassiopeia's demise, but success could make her dreams come true. In the company of the strangely alluring god and armed with her wits, Cassiopeia begins an adventure that will take her on a cross-country odyssey from the jungles of Yucatan to the bright lights of Mexico City and deep into the darkness of the Mayan underworld. That actually sounds so good. I really just need to give Sylvia Morena Garcia another try, because the problem is I tried her horror when I basically hadn't read any horror yet, and it was like too much for me. I think I would even potentially like it now if I tried it. It's one that maybe give it another 5 years and I might try it, but I tried it like right when it first came out, Mexican Gothic, and I didn't vibe. So fantasy, historical fiction, and romance? Oh my gosh. It sounds amazing. Yeah, definitely can't delete this one. Okay, a short story collection, A Phoenix First Must Burn. Elizabeth Acevedo, Danielle Clayton, Justine Ireland, Rebecca Roanhorse, Danielle Page, Evie Zaboy. Those are the authors I know in here. I don't recognize the other names off the top of my head. I haven't read all of those authors, but I have read most of them. I mean, I've read about half of the ones that I mentioned. Okay. 16 tales by best-selling and award-winning authors that explore the Black experience through fantasy, science fiction, and magic. Evoking Beyonce's Lemonade for a teen audience, these authors, who are truly Octavia Butler's heirs, have woven worlds to create a stunning narrative that centers Black women and gender non-conforming individuals. A Phoenix First Must Burn will take you on a journey from folk tales retold to futuristic societies and everything in between. Filled with stories of love and betrayal, strength and resistance, this collection contains an array of complex and true-to-life characters in which you cannot help but see yourself reflected. Witches and scientists, sisters and lovers, priestesses and rebels, the heroines of A Phoenix First Must Burn shine brightly. You will never forget them. Okay, that does sound amazing. I've been super into short stories recently, although I do prefer a collection. I think I've realized that I prefer a collection that's like one author's works versus a bunch of different authors, but either way I like them. And this cover is stunning. Fantasy, sci-fi, and LGBT. Okay, The Merciful Crow by Margaret Owen. So I have another Margaret Owen book, I think. Yeah, Little Thieves. Are these in the same world? Because actually The Merciful Crow came out first. I didn't realize that. His Little Thieves, I think, is the Goose Girl retelling. Okay, well, just on first glance, nobody's mentioning one in the other one, so maybe it's okay. Okay. A future chieftain, Fi, abides by one rule: look after your own. Her crew, cast of undertakers and mercy killers takes more abuse than coin. But when they're called to collect royal dead, she's hoping they'll find the payout of a lifetime. A fugitive prince. When Crown Prince Jasimir turns out to have faked his death, Fi is ready to cut her losses and perhaps his throat, but he offers a wager that she can't refuse. Protect him from a ruthless queen, and he'll protect the crows when he reigns. A too cunning bodyguard. Hawk's warrior Tavin has always put Jazz's life before his, magically assuming the prince's appearance and shadowing his every step. But what happens when Tavin begins to want something to call his own? So I'm very interested in her. I'm very interested in her other book because it's a Goose Girl retelling, I'm pretty sure, but I don't know that I'm very interested in this one. I was trying to see if like anybody had anything exceptional to say about it, and I'm not seeing that out of like people that I'm friends with. I think I'm okay deleting this one. If I end up really loving her other series, if I eventually get around to that, then I could always, like, obviously add this one back. But it sounds pretty typical. Although I do like this cover. The cover's really pretty. How many books is this? It's only a duology. That's not bad. And it's not even like, do I think this sounds bad? Do I think I wouldn't enjoy reading it, etc.? But it's more like, do I think I'll ever get around to reading it? Do I think that I'll read this over the other 2,000 books that I want to read, and then plus all the other, like, thousands of books that are coming out every year that I want to read, etc.? Like, it's more that, or it's like, do I think I'm ever going to prioritize this over everything? Or it's like, do I think I would read this and have a fine time with it? Probably. Like, probably. But that's, I don't know. Rip the merciful crow. The Wizards of Once. So I did read some of the books by Cressida Cowell in the How to Train Your Dragon series. I gave up after the 4th book. I liked the first book the best, but they were just kind of mediocre. I gave them all like 3 stars after that. The humor isn't really mine. It's like lots of like potty humor and stuff like that. But Chris really loved the series and he read like the whole thing. And I did put this one on my radar, but then I never have felt inclined to pick it up ever, and I don't even know what it's about. This is the story of a young boy wizard and a young girl warrior who have been taught to hate each other like poison, and the thrilling tale of whatever happens when their 2 worlds collide. Perfect for boys and girls who love fantasy adventure. Once there was magic, and the magic lived in the dark forest. Wizard boy Czar should have come into his magic by now, but he hasn't, so he wants to find a witch and steal its magic for himself. But if he's got any chance of finding one, he will have to travel into the Forbidden Badwoods. Yeah, I don't think I care enough about reading this. I think I would probably like it more than I liked, like, my impression of the How to Train Your Gavin. Just kidding, that's not his name anymore, but it used to be his name. The How to Train Your Dragon series, I think I would like it better than that in general. Even though I did give the first book 4 stars, but again, like, I don't think I'm gonna get anything out of reading that. The Best Thing by Mariana Zapata. I wonder if there's like, because a bunch of her books have been picked up. No, it doesn't look like this one has, like, traditionally published after they were self-published. Okay. It's a sports romance. Okay. Some things are easily forgiven, other things not so much. Lenny DeMaio made herself a promise. She was done thinking about him, done worrying about him, done reaching out to a man who clearly didn't want to be found. Too bad no one gave Jonah Collins the memo. That tells me abso-fucking-lutely nothing about this book. That epilogue fucking killed me. Yeah, that's kind of the thing with Mariana Zapata, is that they're really fucking long, and then they're just like kind of like gut punchy and stuff, tends to be how they go. Chandler DNF'd it. Yeah. I don't know. I definitely have a couple of her books still on my TBR, but I think I'm okay of letting this one go. People are saying that it ends up being very repetitive at the beginning, and I'm okay of letting go of a 500-page repetitive book. Um, I had this old um, manager at the library that I worked at, and she would always say whenever a book came into the library that was like over like 400, 500 pages, she was like, that book needs an editor. uh, I loved her so much. She was just like, that book needs a really good editor. She's like, no book needs to be this long. It needs an editor. I was like, yeah. And I think this book probably really did need an editor. Uh, okay. How to Love a Duke in 10 Days. Kerrigan Byrne, I think, is the author of The Highwayman. I'm pretty sure. Yeah. And I've only read one book by this author, but I did really like it. Um, these men are dark, bold, and brave. There is only one woman who can bring them to their knees. Wait, the way that's framed makes it sound like it's a Harlem, but it's a reverse harem book. But it's not. But it's like these men. There is only one woman. But anyway, famed and brilliant Lady Alexandra Lane has always known how to for look out for to herself. But nobody would ever expect that she has darkness in her past, one that she pays a blackmailer to keep buried. Now, with her family nearing bankruptcy, Alexandra strikes upon a solution. Get married to one of the empire's most wealthy, eligible bachelors, even if he does have the reputation of a devil. Love takes no prisoners. Piers Gedrick Atherton. These are like fantasy names. God damn. The Duke of Redmayne is seeking revenge, and the first step is securing a bride. Winning a lady's hand is not so easy, however, for a man known as the Terror of Torcliffe. Then Lady Alexandra enters his life like a bolt of lightning. When she proposes marriage, Piers knows that like him, trouble haunts her footsteps, but her gentleness, sharp wit, independent nature, and incredible beauty awakens every fierce desire within him. He will do whatever it takes to keep her safe in his arms. Yeah, it sounds like a typical historical romance, and I don't know, I just feel like I'm kind of not in my historical romance phase, and I do want to continue on with the other series that I've read by her, and maybe if I finish that series I'll want to read more stuff by her, but for now I'm okay deleting that one. Okay. Laughter at the Academy by Shannon McGuire. What the what the fuck is this cover? I don't think I've ever looked at this cover closely, and I don't know how well you can see it either. But it's like lips and skin trapped in like a bubble jar, and it left a little kiss mark on the side of the container. That's a very weird academy. From fairy tale forest to gloomy gothic moor, from gleaming epidemiologist's lab to the sandy shores of Neverland, Shannon McGuire's short fiction has been surprising, delightful, confusing, and transporting her readers since 2009. Now, for the first time, that fiction has been gathered together in one place, ready to be enjoyed, one twisting, tangled tale at a time. Her work crosses genre and subverts expectations. Oh, okay. I didn't realize this was a short story collection. This is such a weird cover. I cannot get over it. Um, is this on audio? Hmm. Yeah, I don't even think this is on audiobook. Um, please load. Yeah, that is not. So I'm gonna move it out of here to my. I did go through everything like a really long time ago and moved stuff to no audio, but obviously I've missed some stuff. Um, I would like to read it at some point because I do like Seanan McGuire, but um, I would have to read it physically, so I'm gonna move it to that shelf and I'll categorize it later. Okay, and I love short stories. Okay, Kerrigan Byrne, The Fiona Mahoney Mysteries. London, 1890. Blood and death are Fiona Mahoney's trade and business, as they say, is. Let's start over. London, 1890. Blood and death are Fiona Mahoney's trade, and business, as they say, is booming. Dying is the only thing people do with any regularity, and Fiona makes her indecorous living cleaning up after the corpses are carted away. Her childhood best friend, Mary, was the last known victim of Jack the Ripper. It's been 2 years since Fiona scrubbed Mary's blood from the floorboards, and London is no longer buzzing about the Ripper, but Fiona hasn't forgotten, and she hasn't stopped searching for Jack. When she's called to a murder in the middle of the night, Fiona finds a victim mutilated in an eerily similar fashion to those of the Ripper, and only a few doors down from Mary's old home. The relentless, overbearing, and irritatingly handsome Inspector Grayson Croft. Okay. So I think the thing that would make this a hit or a miss for me, because I could not care less about Jack the Ripper, but it sounds so interesting that she's like a crime scene killer, especially one, like a crime scene killer in like the turn of the century. Sounds interesting. But is the whole thing gonna be Jack the Ripper, or is it gonna be just her being a crime scene killer in the other ones? So I'm just gonna try to skim through the other ones and just see if they mention Jack the Ripper. Okay, so the second one mentions Jack the Ripper, but the third and fourth one don't. So I think I'd be willing to give it a try in hopes that the whole series, that I enjoy like the characters and the vibe, and that the whole series doesn't follow that plot line. Anyway. Yes, I think I'm gonna give it a try. Mystery, historical fiction, romance. It feels very autumnal. A queer retelling of Hans Christian Andersen's The Little Mermaid, Ripples and Waves by L.A. Witt. And something I've been seeing is I've been trying to see if these... I've been just trying to be more conscious about reading books if they're like queer, if they're like male romances, to just try to seek out books written by men, because there's a lot of fetishization of gay men. Anyway, by women. And this is a woman, so I think I'm okay just to let this one go. I know it was recommended to me a long time ago, which is why it's on my TBR, and I'm alright just to let that one go. I've never felt compelled to pick it up in the last 5 years. And like there's obviously like exceptions to that rule or whatever, and like seeing if people are like, if that's like the only thing they write, or if they write like diversely and stuff. But like if that's pretty much their bread and butter and that's all they do, and they write like 50 male romances, like you're pretty heavily profiting off of that. Like anyway, just trying to be more conscious of who I'm supporting. Okay, the utterly... And that being said, if you see things and you think I'm like... So if I'm supporting people that you're like, oh, that person like really sucks, like please let me know. Maybe I don't know they suck. I want to do better. Okay, the utterly uninteresting and unadventurous tales of Fred the Vampire Accountant by Drew Hayes. Drew Hayes. I have not read anything by Drew Hayes. Some people are born boring. Some live boring. Some even die boring. Fred managed to do all three. And when he woke up as a vampire, he did so as a boring one. Timid, socially awkward, and plagued by self-esteem issues. Fred has never been the adventurous sort. One fateful night, different from the night he died, which was more inconvenient than fateful, Fred reconnects with an old friend at his high school reunion. This rekindled relationship sets off a train of events, thrusting him right into the chaos that is the parahuman world, a world with chipper zombies, truck drivers, wereponies, mechanical necromancers, ancient dragons, and now one undead accountant trying his best to survive, because even after it's over, one can still be a downright bloody mess. don't know. I feel kind of torn on this one. People are saying it's very repetitive and formulaic, and then other people are like, it's just charming and fun. I think it's a quite long series. Eight books. Oof. Very long. I think I'm okay letting this one go. It's not really calling to me. Discount Armageddon by Seanan McGuire. Ooh, I'm scared. Seanan McGuire. I know I just said that I really like her, but also I'm scared of her because she's let me down several times. Cryptid, noun. Any creature whose existence has not yet been proven by science. See also monster. Cryptozoologist, noun. Any person who thinks hunting for cryptids is a good idea. See also idiot. Ghoulies, ghosties, long-legged beasties, things that go bump in the night. The Price family has spent generations studying the monsters of the world, working to protect them from humanity and humanity from them. Enter Verity Price. Despite being trained from birth as a cryptozoologist, she'd rather dance a tango than tangle with demons, and is spending a year in Manhattan while she pursues her career in professional ballroom dance. Sounds pretty simple, right? It would be if it weren't for the talking mice, the telepathic math magicians, the asbestos supermodels, and the trained monster hunter sent by the Price family's old enemies, the convenient of St. George. When a Price girl meets a convenient boy, high stakes, high heels, and a lot of collateral damage are almost guaranteed. To complicate matters further, local cryptids are disappearing. Strange lizard men are appearing in the sewers, and someone's spreading rumors about a dragon sleeping underneath the city. Wowie. Is this one long too? I know the October series is really long. Oh, I don't know why I always scroll down. 19 primary works and 48 works in total. Holy shit, Seanan McGuire. Prolific much? There's supposed to be another book coming out next year. Okay. So, if I start, I have lots to read. I haven't heard really anybody talk about this series, I don't think. I've heard a lot of people talk about the October Days series, I think it's called, but not this one. And I think I'd like to give it a try. It sounds really fun, but I think also it could be a hot fucking mess, and I don't know which one it's gonna be. Fantasy romance, it looks like it is. Fantasy romance mystery. Let's give it a try. Okay. Pridemates by Jennifer Ashley. What a salacious cover. How long is this series? I feel like this one's quite long too. 16 works? 16 primary works and 34 works total. And the last book just came out last year, so it is ongoing. So that last series by Seanan McGuire, the first book was published in 2012, it said. This first book was published in 2010. Okay. Collared and controlled, shifters are outcast from humanity, forced to live in shifter towns, but waiting wherein are passions that no collar can contain. Like most shifters, Liam Morrissey has learned that trusting humans leads to no good, but when a beautiful attorney enters Shifter Town alone, Liam's alpha nature leaves him no choice but to offer his protection. Tasked with defending a shifter accused of murder, attorney Kim Fraser is completely out of her depth in the mysterious world of shifters. To prove her client's innocence, Kim will need the help of someone on the inside, even though relying on Liam goes against um, everything society says about shifters. And when an uncollared shifter threatens both Kim and Liam, the young attorney will have to learn to trust her unlikely protector and face the passion she feels for a man who can't be tamed. Oh, wow. I just realized that this is a collar coming down on her neck. What a wild cover. Okay, so Jennifer Ashley, I've actually read like 4 or 5 of her books, but they've all been historical romance, and I actually really liked them. So yeah, I read 5 of her books. So I actually really do want to try this and see if I'll like her paranormal. But yeah, I genuinely have no idea if I'll like them, because it I've only read her historical. So romance and fantasy. Sounds like it's probably like a mystery thriller too. Great Goddesses: Life Lessons from Myths and Monsters by Nikita Gill. Oh, it's poetry. Yuck. I don't like poetry. I think I'm okay just deleting that. I just don't like reading poetry at all. Like ever. So. Okay, Hey, we just added the other one from this. Okay, The Time Traveler's Guide to Medieval England, a handbook for visitors to the 14th century. Imagine you could get in a time machine and travel back to the 14th century. This text sets out to explain what life was like in the most immediate way through taking the reader to the Middle Ages and showing everything from the horrors of leprosy and war to the ridiculous excesses of roasted larks and haute couture. And I am interested in reading that. Okay, The Last Days of the Romanovs' Tragedies at something? I'm not going to try to say that. Helen Rappaport, an expert in the field of Russian history, brings you the riveting day-by-day account of the last 14 days of the Russian imperial family. In this first of 2 books about the Romanovs, the brutal murder of the Russian imperial family on the night of July 16th to 17th, 1918, has long been a defining moment in world history. The Last Days of the Romanovs reveals in exceptional detail how the conspiracy to kill them unfolded. In the vivid style of a TV documentary, Helen Rappaport reveals both the atmosphere inside the family's claustrophobic prison and the political maneuverings of those who wish to save or destroy them. With the watching world and European monarchies proving incapable of saving the Romanovs, the narrative brings this tragic story to life in a compelling and new dramatic way, culminating in a bloody night of horror in a cramped basement room. I already have a couple books that I've kept on my TBR about the Romanovs. I really don't know anything about them. I don't know if this is one to keep or not. Yeah, so I kept Romanov's The Final Chapter. And then like a big one about the Romanovs. So I think I'm okay letting this one go. And if after I try these ones I feel like I need more, I can seek out more. But this one I'm okay letting go. Speaking of Jennifer Ashley's historical romance, The Seduction of Elliot McBride. I'm not going to read what this is about because it is the book 5 in the series, but I am planning on continuing on with the series, and it is historical fiction and romance, and I feel like these work for any season. Okay, just making sure that I didn't miss putting, I haven't missed any of my subcategories. And then my other category for this is going to be that it needs to go into oldest sequels. Okay. Dreadful Acts by Philip Ardag, and illustrated by David Roberts. Also not one that I can tell you what it's about because it is the sequel. The categories are fiction, humor. It's like kind of like series of unfortunate events-y. Not really. I don't know. But it's kind of that like Tim Burton-esque aesthetic. The first book says Eddie Dickinson is set off to stay with his aunt and uncle, and a riotously funny comedy of errors ensues. When both Eddie Dickens' parents catch a disease that makes them turn yellow, go a bit crinkly around the edges, and smell of hot water bottles, it's agreed that he should go and stay with relatives at their house. Awful end. Unfortunately for Eddie, those relatives are Mad Uncle Jack and even madder Aunt Maud. This hilarious historical spoof, the first in the Eddie Dickens trilogy, has been called a scrumptious cross between Dickens and Monty Python. And that's the first book. And I read it like 5 years ago, and I haven't continued yet, so I need to do that. So it is, I guess I'm just gonna put it in fantasy. I guess I could put it in historical fiction too. Fantasy, and I'm just gonna put it in fantasy. I don't know. And oldest sequels, and feels very like autumnal. An Unconditional Freedom by Alyssa Cole is the last book in the Loyal League series, which are so good. I really liked the first 2 books. Highly recommend this series for a historical romance series. It's set during the Civil War. I think the first one is that she is undercover as a slave. And she's working in a house, in a Confederate house, as a spy. And yeah, it's good. I still haven't read the third book, which is astounding. I can't believe I haven't done that, so I need to do that. Um, Historical fiction, romance. Okay, The Fairy Tale Matchmaker. I believe I unhauled this book. I think I owned it and I think I unhauled it. Yeah, I don't own it anymore. I'm just gonna delete it. I was very into Edie Baker as a kid. I loved the Frog Princess series, and then I read through the whole series on my first year on BookTube back in like 2013. I read through the whole series in 2013 and 2014, and I haven't read through them since, but I would continue to reread the first like 5, but I wouldn't read further. I don't think it's worth it. I remember not having a great time with like the 6th, 7th, and the 8th book was really bad. And I have read The Wide Awake Princess. It doesn't say that I have because I added it back onto my TBR so that I would reread it, because I would like to continue with the series though. But I don't think I'm interested in reading her other books. The Fairy Godmother Academy, Birdie's book. Where do fairy godmothers come from? When Birdie goes to visit her grandmother for the first time, she learns that her grandmother is a fairy godmother, which means Birdie's a fairy godmother too. Trained by fairies in a magical land called Adventurine, human fairy godmothers have been hidden protectors of the world for centuries. Birdie's family talisman, a singing stone, has been broken, and now only Birdie can use the stone to travel to Aventurine to repair it. I don't know. I think this cover is so ugly. I'm surprised this was only in 2008 that it came out because it looks like it was like 2003. This feels so dated. I was very into reading fairy tale retellings, and I still love fairy tale retellings, but I actually have to be interested in them now. Before, I used to read them even if I wasn't interested, because I'm like, any fairy tale retelling I'll read. And now I'm like, I actually have to be interested in the fairy tale retelling to read. Because now there's so many other books I want to read that aren't fairy tale retellings. A Walk in the Woods, Rediscovering America on the Appalachian Trail. Back in America after 20 years in Britain, Bill Bryson decided to reacquaint himself with his native country by walking the 2,100-mile Appalachian Trail, or Appalachian, I've heard it said both ways, which stretches from Georgia to Maine. The AT offers an astonishing landscape of silent forests and sparkling lakes, and to a writer with the comic genius of Bill Bryson, it also provides endless opportunities to witness the majestic silliness of his fellow human beings. For a start, there's the gloriously I don't know. I think I'm okay with letting this one go. I don't know. Everybody says to read Bill Bryson, but I think it's one of those things where it's like, I feel like I should read him, but I'm not actually interested in reading him. I think I might still read A Short History of Nearly Everything. It doesn't say that I DNF'd the body, but I think I read about a quarter of it and then DNF'd it, and I just deleted it off of Goodreads. And then I also DNF'd The Lost Continent. The things that I have tried to read from him, I haven't enjoyed. I think I'm still going to try Short History of Nearly Everything, but I don't even think I want to read this one. I'm just not that interested in him. Nama's Kiss by Jacqueline Carey. The child of the Maghoons Dawn of the Maghoon Dawn, the forest of the brown bear. Morin is raised in the wilderness of Alba by her reclusive mother. Only when she comes of age does she discover her own illustrious and mixed heritage. Descended from Alice the Wise, princess of both Ter Dange and Alba, Morin is also the daughter of Dangeline, priest dedicated to serving Nama, goddess of desire. Oh my god. What a paragraph. After undergoing the Magun Dawn rites of adulthood, Morin finds divine acceptance, provided she fulfills a mysterious fate that lies across the oceans. Blah 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 blah. Yeah, I think I'm okay of letting this one go. I did DNF Jacqueline Carey's other most famous book about a year ago, Cushel Start. So if I didn't like that, I don't think it's worth reading this one. I only got 12% into that, but this book is so long, I felt like I was reading it forever. It's 1,000 pages. Ugh. It's too long. Okay. I feel like we're never going to get to the end of this page because I keep deleting everything. No. Oh wait, I know I want to keep this one because I just read the description of this one. I was going through some physical books on my TBR within the last week. And I was reading the description of this and I was like, wait, it actually sounds so interesting. The race is on to be the first to discover the secret of flight. Magpie is soon caught up in the world of science, spies, and unruly animals to be the first to passenger in a hot air balloon. Yesterday, Magpie was one of the best thieves in all of France, but an encounter with a boy dangling from the sky will change her life forever. And even though it ends in disaster, Magpie becomes enthralled by the idea of flying over the rooftops of Paris like the dangling Pierre. His family, the blah blah blah. Okay, I don't have to read the rest, but it's based on a true story. Like, and normally I don't like those, but like, I think I'm okay with it in this children's context. Because I don't think it's like real people. It's just like the idea of like, yes, this is the time period, and this is like a real thing that was happening. Anyway, just some historical fiction. I kind of want to compare the covers. Well, this one is so freaking blurry. Let me try another one. Oh, this one looks just as blurry. It looks more blurry. Damn it. Oh. I wonder if they changed it so that she would be darker. Because it looks like she is like white in this. And then in this one, she is... looks like she's black. So Anyway. Oh, but she's white in this one. Why is she black in like Germany or wherever and then white in America? That is so weird. I do not like that. Anyway, they're like, if you're black in America, you won't sell. Anyway. I think this is a book that I would have really liked as a kid. The Mouse and the Motorcycle by Beverly Cleary. I don't actually know what this is about. In this imaginative adventure, a young mouse named Ralph is thrown into a world of excitement when a boy and his shiny toy motorcycle check into the Mountain View Inn. This timeless classic now features blah 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 blah. When the ever-curious Ralph spots Keith's red toy motorcycle, he vows to ride it. So when Keith leaves the bike unattended in his room one day, Ralph makes his move. Okay. That sounds like that will be fun. I think I would have also really liked this one as a kid. I did read Stuart Little as a kid, of course. Who didn't? I also read like the Avi, like ragweed books as a kid. I read a lot of animal books as a kid. I read so many animal books as a kid, so I feel like this would have been my vibe. Can't believe I haven't read this, but I'll have to try it. Okay. Bruce Coville's Book of Monsters, Tales to Give You the Creeps. And it says that he's the editor. A horribly good anthology from the best-selling author of My Teacher Isn't an Alien. Featured here are 13 monster tales, 9 original and 4 reprinted favors. And some of the best writers in the genre, including Jane Yolen. Okay, so he is the editor, they just don't credit them. All, which is annoying. Sounds very fun. And I love Bruce Coville. Horror, fantasy. The Monsters of Morley Manor. A madcap adventure. What do you do what do you get when you mix together werewolves, vampires, mad scientists, wizards, aliens, alternate dimensions, tiny people, Transylvania, ancient curses, giant frogs, evil clones, ghosts, lawyers, shape changers, fallen angels, journeys through hell, zombie warriors, body snatchers, and 2 clever kids in whose hands rests the fate of the earth. The latest madcap adventure comedy fantasy mystery from the best-selling novelist Bruce Coville. That's what. So fun. Fantasy, sci-fi, horror. Oh, did I put the other one horror? I don't think. Did I? Yeah, okay. Fantasy, sci-fi, horror. And I forgot to put this one in classic. I remembered. Yeah, nothing else has been a classic except for that one. Okay. Just a moment. Alright. The Beast of Beswick is probably a Beauty and the Beast retelling because I was always adding those. But maybe it's not. But I was always adding those. Beauty and the Beast. Alright. Lord Nathaniel Hart, the disagreeable Duke of Beswick, spends his days smashing porcelain, antagonizing the servants, and snarling at anyone who gets too close. With a ruined face like his, it's hard to lag much about the world, especially smart-mouthed harpies. Blah, blah, blah. No, I'm okay. I think I'm, like, I don't know. You don't have to start it off by saying that you, like, are mean and antagonize servants. Like, you're just a dick. The Miraculous Journey of Edward Tulane. Once in a house on Egypt Street, there lived a China rabbit named Edward Tulane. The rabbit was very pleased with himself, and for a good reason. He was owned by a girl named Abeline, who adored him completely, and then one day he was lost. Kate DiCamillo takes us on an extraordinary journey from the depths of the ocean to the net of a fisherman, from the bedside of an alien child to the bustling streets of Memphis. Along the way, we are shown a miracle that even a heart of the most breakable kind can learn to love, to lose, and to love again. I don't know. I'm reluctant to try this because I've been very I don't know. Been very miss with Kate DiCamillo. Not hit or miss, very miss. I obviously grew up on the Tale of Despereaux because I was an animal kid. Hello, Keisha. I don't know if you just said that or if it's been there for a little bit. Sorry if you said that a while ago. Because I just noticed it. How are you doing? How was your night? I've been here for an hour and 20 minutes talking to myself. You're the first comment, but I persist. So thanks for saying hello. The Tales of Despereaux. I was an animal child growing up. I read all the animal books. So I did read Tales of Despereaux, and I did like it as a kid. But trying to read it as an adult, I did not like it. I read Because of Winn-Dixie as a kid as well, which is why it's unrated. And then I read Louisiana's Way Home a few years ago when it came out, and I hated it. And Mercy Watson I read a couple years ago as well, like maybe 5 or 6 years ago, and I also hated it. And I read the sequel, and I also hated it. I don't know why people love that series. So I'm like, oh, fuck. Like, this author is not for me. But this is the one that I've kind of kept on my radar and on my TBR because I was like, maybe this will be the one because everybody loves this book. But people also like Louisiana's Ways Home, and they gave it 4.27 stars. And I gave him 1 star, so I'm like, obviously, I cannot be trusted to have the same opinion as other people. So I don't know if I should read this book or not. You've not been here long. Just put your friends' kids to sleep and now enjoying some peace and quiet. Ugh, it sounds very pleasant. Ugh, I cannot imagine. I don't know the last time I was in charge of taking care of kids by myself. Because I don't live close to any of my family's children, so. Like, sorry, can't babysit. You live 8 hours away. Like, no, I really am sorry. I would do it, but I'm sorry. I was kidding. It was a joke. Like, I know that, but I yeah. Yeah. Because of Winn-Dixie, I've definitely watched it as well. But I definitely read it too. I don't know which I did first though. Definitely around the same time as a kid for me. I think I might try this one by Kate DiCamillo, but I think it will be her last chance. You're the roommate, so you're not getting out of your kid duty. Well, hopefully that means you can at least help instill like a love of reading and stuff. That's what I try to do. I'm like, I will buy you books and stuff. I'm like, since I can't be around you very much. Okay. All the Ways to the Gallows. David Drake is one of those old sci-fi authors. Ooh, this is military sci-fi. He's one of those old sci-fi authors, and I wonder if he's like problematic. Like, I'm not saying he is. I can't spell controversy because I'm stupid. No. Well, that's good. Nothing's coming up. Because there's some other, like, old fantasy or sci-fi authors that I've realized I need to look up about them before I start reading their stuff. Because there are some that I've read, and then I realize after the fact that I'm like, oh shit, you're like a horrible person. Like, is it David Eddings? Is that the author? Yeah, David Eddings. Like, I read some of his stuff, like, I don't know, 2016 or something, and I didn't even have the thought to, like, look up stuff. But Reddit has the information, and it's like, I found allegations against fantasy author David Eddings and his wife. They were both arrested for physical abuse of their foster children. Anyway, um, it's like I just yeah. There's a lot of very questionable. I mean, everybody, but especially like old SFF writers. Um. Oh yeah, I would look more into him. I think there's more stuff too, possibly, but I think that yeah, I think yeah, I think they possibly went to jail. He and his wife. Anyway. ah. Um. Yeah, you don't want reading to be a chore at home, even. Yeah. Oh, spell check is the best. But anyway, that's something about David Eddings that I just found out like literally like 2 months ago, and I was like, oh shit, like yeah, he's very homophobic for sure. Orson Scott Card. So I've never read any of his stuff, and I don't plan to, and yeah, I'm just trying to be more mindful about people. So I am going through stuff right now and just like making sure I'm interested in the plot and stuff, but then I'm also going to go through and like look up specific gonna go through and look up authors too and like see if they're people I want to support and stuff as well. Um I want to do both. Um all the way to the gallows. I don't know why, but I just love this cover. It's so like weird and odd and it just I don't know. It brings me joy. He'll just slay you. Widely known for the grim and gritty battlefield realism of his best selling adventures of Hammers Slammers and for the popular novels of military fiction, David Drake now takes deadly aim at the funny bone. Meet the goblin paratroopers and learn why a sane goblin would want to jump out of a perfectly good, lighter than air balloon. Follow the problems of a team of hard-boiled, fearless space cops who have to operate under the niggling restrictions of a politically correct alien supervisor. Ugh. March into the desert with a troop of rough, tough mercenary elves and humans who have to lose a dangerous magic talisman so that it will stay lost, all while being hectored by the same obnoxiously vocal talisman, which doesn't want to be lost. Enjoy a collaboration by Drake and Larry Nevin that is as unlike the Man Kits and Wars universe as it is delightful, and more, all laugh and more, and laugh all the way to the gallows. I do like short stories and I do want to read more short story collections. I think I will give this one a try. I do already own it. I have like a huge I used to have like such a huge collection of like mass market paperback SFF books and I've gotten rid of a ton of them, but I still do own a good amount. So I think I'll try it because of that, but the Noble Savages. Um. Oh, this is Magic the Gathering. Interesting. And I think there's maybe some problematic stuff with Larry Niven too. So don't know. but I still kind of want to try it. I don't know. But I don't expect it to be good. And I don't think I like military sci-fi. Or I don't think I like military stuff in general. So I don't know. But I kind of want to try it anyway, and I don't think I'll like it, but we'll see how it goes. Ugh. I guess I'm just a glutton for punishment. Our Universe: An Astronomer's Guide by Joe Dunkley. I did not know this was part of a series. Hmm. Consolidating. Yeah. Thankfully, I don't know. With me, since I mostly listen to audiobooks instead of a Pelican Introduction, Our Universe. Okay, interesting. As I mostly listen to audiobooks, I'm not as tempted to buy physical books unless I know that it's like an all-time favorite book that I'm gonna want to like hold on to and keep, or it's a book where the physical book adds something to the audio experience, like it has illustrations or it doesn't exist on audio, or like there's something else. um so I often don't buy physical books until I've already read them and I already know that I love them. um so a lot of the time when I'm buying physical books, I've already read them, which makes it easier at this point. Yeah. There's this book by oh the person who writes the blog, like Mrs. Darcy, whatever. The book is called I'd Rather Be Reading. Oh, there it is. The Delights and Dilemmas of the Reading Life. I really love it, by Anne Bogle. That's her name. Sorry, I couldn't remember her blog. What is it called? I can't see. I can't make it out. Modern Mrs. Darcy is what it's called. The blog is Modern Mrs. Darcy. But I really like this book because she does really encapsulate some things that like I've never thought about, like the way like putting it into words, or like that I do it. But then the way that she said it, I was just like, oh yes, I totally do that. Um, I mean, of course, I read this like first in like 2018, so maybe I would have since then. But she was talking about how like her friend was saying like, oh, I wish I could just own every book that I want. Like, I just wish I could, like, own all the books and stuff. And she was like, no, like, she's like, are you kidding me? I love the library so much. She was like, if I owned every book I wanted to read, she was like, I would never read them. She's like, the reason that I read so much is because she's like, the impending doom of books that need to get returned to the library is like the thing that makes me have to read. The like, oh no, this book is due in 4 days, like I have to binge it, or like all that, like having this like ticking time bomb of like books that are due and stuff. Like those are the things, and it's like I have this massive stack of books that I own that I need to read, but I'm always going to go to the library and prioritize those because they're due, and that's the thing that's going to make me read them. And like the library is so important for that. And I was like, that is so accurate. Like I never like verbalized that, but that has been me my whole life, and I love the library for that. You've been really good with not buying as many physical books unless you see a sale or at Goodwill. 100% Goodwill. The used bookstores or the thrift stores are the way. Anyway, this book is really small, the 150 pages, and the way it just puts into words like some of the things that you're just like, yes, the reads. Like, anyway, um, oh, that's such a delight. Okay. I'm going to take a super quick break. I'm just going to go to the bathroom really quick. But I will be right back. Sorry. Oh. But anyway. My neck is hurting. I just need to put something on it to help it not feel like it's seizing up so bad. Ugh. Okay, our universe. Joe Dunkley combines her expertise as an astrophysicist with her talent as a teacher and writer in this lively and exceptionally clear introduction to the structure and history of the universe and its enduring mysteries. Is the glare bothering you? Most of us have heard of black holes and supernovas, galaxies and the Big Bang, but few of us understand more than the bare facts about the universe we call home. What is really out there? How did it all begin? Where are we going? Joe Dunkley begins in Earth's neighborhood, explaining the nature of the solar system, the stars in our night skies, the Milky Way. She then moves out past a nearby galaxy and back in time to the horizon of the observable universe. I don't know. I'm just kind of moving away from space stuff. I don't know. I'm just not as interested in reading space stuff and everything. I just want to read stuff about our Earth, and I think our Earth is the future of our Earth, and I feel like we need to stop spending so much money and resources on space and stuff, and I don't know. There's like a couple more space books that I'll read and things, but I'm kind of I think I just need to, I don't really want to read about it. It makes me very depressed to read about space, because I just feel like the Kindle book is $20. Holy shit. I don't know. I feel like we're putting all our resources there instead of like into our oceans and stuff. I already unhauled this one off my physical TBR. Like I said, I was going through some of my physical. They're spending resources because they know what they're doing to planet Earth. Yeah. And that's the thing. Where it's like, I don't know, how much we spend on space makes it feel like we're just like giving up on Earth, and it makes me sad, and I just want to stop. It's not where I want to put my energy. Like I could put a little bit of my energy there. It's not like I think space is a totally useless thing, but I feel like the Earth is exponentially more important. So anyway, $20. That's a very, anyway. But I was going through some of my physical TBR, just trying to like unhaul some stuff that I knew I was not interested in kind of preparation for going through some of this, and I did unhaul this one. I had an ARC that I had gotten for free from work, and anyway, so I'm just gonna delete it. Like, I would just rather buy the physical book for $20. And same thing with Winterwood by Shay Earnshaw. I also want to delete this. I'm not interested in it. I know. So I'm just going to delete that. The Moffats. Old classic children's fiction, 1941. Where's this author from? America. Okay. Connecticut. 4 Moffat children and a hard-working widowed mother live on a New Dollar Street in Cranberry Village. During kindergarten recess, one accidentally hitches a ride out of town on a boxcar. One winds up trapped in the bread box outside the deli. One offers to escort a Salvation Army man to his destination, and one accidentally bumps him from his horse-drawn wagon. Okay. So they're chaos goblins. Yeah, I think I'm okay to not read this. It's kind of been bouncing around on my radar for the last, 20 years, 30 years, but I don't know. No thanks. Reminded me of so many of my favorite books. The Saturdays, Railway Children, Five Little Peppers, and I also love the Railway Children. Well, the first one. The other books are really racist. And Five Little Peppers. But I'm okay with the ones I've read, and I'd rather read other things. This page is never gonna get finished. I started at this point of the page hours ago, 2 hours ago, and I've just deleted so many books that I feel like I've made no progress, but I have. I just keep deleting everything. It's never gonna end. The Life and Loves of Ian Nesbit, Victorian iconoclast? What the hell? Iconoclast? A person who attacks cherished beliefs or institutions? A destroyer of images used in religious worship? Holy shit. Victorian iconoclast, children's author, and creator of the Railway Children. I've never heard that word before. What an awesome word. The first major biography of the trailblazing and controversial children's author E. Nesbit. Edith Nesbit, 1858 to 1924, is considered the first modern writer for children and the inventor of the children's adventure story. In The Life and Loves of E. Nesbit, award-winning biographer Eleanor Fitzsimmons uncovers the little-known details of her life, introducing readers to the Fabian Society co-founder and fabulous socialite who hosted legendary parties and had admirers by the dozen, including George Bernard Shaw. Though Nesbit's letters and archival research, Fitzsimmons reveals E to have been a prolific lecturer and writer on socialism and shows how Nesbit incorporated these ideas into her writings, thereby influencing a generation of children, and an aspect of her literary legacy never before examined. Fitzsimmons' riveting biography brings new light to the life and works of this famed literary icon, a remarkable writer and woman. You were looking at Anna and the French Kiss like, am I really gonna read you? No, Anna and the French Kiss was so bad. It was bad in 2014. It's probably way worse in 2025. I read it June 14th, 2014. When I was an idiot. 11.5 years ago, I was stupid and I gave it 1 star because it was trash. It's not good. I did like the sequel, but the first book is really bad. Yeah. I know. I need to I'm trying to get better, and I feel like I have gotten a lot better at not buying stuff because I'm like I'll try it cuz I'm not going to try it. I have too many things I want to read. I need to read. The time is limited. I'm going to die soon. Not really, hopefully, but it feels like it. I need to stop contributing to the massive overconsumption of everything. Yeah. In that case, just skip Anna and you could try Lola instead. I don't think they. Yeah, you don't really have to read Anna to read Lola. The anger and hate that Anna and the French Kiss made me feel was almost overpowering, but I still wanted to give Stephanie another chance because I thought she could do better, and I'm glad that I did. Although this book still have some very immature characters, I'm glad I can write. Cough, 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 Lola, cough. I did enjoy it a lot. I liked the hero of this book a lot too. Not as good as Anna, but still very enjoyable. Ugh. You have bad taste, Haley. No. You should just do like try a chapter or something. I'm pretty sure, I don't really remember, but I'm pretty sure Anna has cheating in it. Anyway, E. Nesbit sounds awesome. I did. So I've read a lot of E. Nesbit's books, but some of them are racist. But I would love to learn more about her, because it sounds like she did some cool shit. Her books are racist in, like, like a mystical Arab kind of way, where there's like if, I don't know. It's kind of hard to explain because I'm fuzzy on stuff because I haven't read it super recently, but that's the kind of stuff I don't really remember super clearly, but it was just, yeah, it was weird. But there was a book that her book The Railway Children, though, I did read a few years ago. I mean, I read it as a kid as well. I really loved that book as a kid, and I reread it a few years ago and I really loved it, and I didn't really have like huge issues with it at all. Like, there weren't like big issues with it. So I don't know. Yeah. That's what I'm worried about, a passage to India. I don't really know the synopsis. I don't know if this book is like racist or not. And I'm like, I love E.M. Forster. I don't know if it's racist or not. So we'll read the description together and see how it reads. A Passage to India. This is a movie tie-in cover. Ooh, maybe I want to switch to a different cover. I don't know. Okay. When Adela Quested and her elderly companion, Mrs. Moore, arrived in the Indian town of Chandrapur, they quickly feel trapped by its insular and prejudiced Anglo-Indian community. Determined to escape the what is this word? Parochial? Having a limited or narrow outlook or scope. Sometimes it's not direct, just micro, like Peter Pan, the non-Disney book. Yeah. Even the movie is not great, but the book is even worse, yeah. Yeah. It's not great. Parochial. I just had it up. Damn, how do you say that? Parochial? Parochial? I don't know. I'm just gonna say it like that. Parochial English enclave and explore the real India. They seek the guidance of the charming and mercurial Dr. Aziz, the cultivated Indian Muslim. But a mysterious incident occurs while they are exploring the Marabar caves with Aziz, and the well-respected doctor soon finds himself at the center of the scandal that rouses violent passions among the British and their Indian subjects, a masterful portrait of society in the grip of imperialism. A Passage to India compellingly depicts the fate of individuals caught between the great political and cultural conflicts of the modern world. In his introduction, Pankaj Mishra outlines Foster's complex engagement with Indian society and culture. This edition reproduces the Abinger text and notes, and also includes 4 of Forster's essays in India, a chronology, and further reading. Fuck. I cannot read. The critique and ultimately the threat of the Indian independence movement. This drama centered around a woman seeking a more fulfilling life in India as she seeks a relationship with a high-ranking Englishman, juxtaposed with the Muslim doctor who dared to have a real friendship with a liberated Englishman, pulls no punches at looking at the failings of not just the British Empire, but Britons themselves as they seek to maintain a hold over British India. Okay, so I feel like he probably does well and does good, it sounds, is what people are saying. Okay, that sounds good. You always pronounce. I don't always pronounce it correctly in my head. I'm not gonna say that. Sometimes I don't, probably, but I do struggle. And I have been reading for 2 hours. Uh, yeah, he was. I don't know. Ian Forster was very, very interesting. He was. He, best known for his ironic and well plotted novels examining class difference and hypocrisy in earliest 20th century British society. He was also queer, and yeah, I didn't know how he would tackle a book in India, but it sounds like pretty good. Um, okay. Well, that makes me go into it with more relief. Because I've always felt kind of anxious about reading it because I never looked too closely into it. Because I read some of, what is her name? I read some of Frances Hodgson Burnett's books, like The Making of a Marquess. I don't know how to spell it. Nope. Nope. Don't know how to spell it. And it was really, really racist. Because so is The Secret Garden. The Secret Garden is also racist, and so is A Little Princess. But it's like a kid's book, and it's not like as. Like, it's. I wouldn't say it's like necessarily micro, but it's not as in your face. But like the make it a Marchioness. Oh, it wasn't a Marquess. It was a Marchioness. That's why. I'm gonna pretend like I know how to spell Marquess. The Making of a Marchioness by Frances Hodgson Burnett. But like this one was, since it was adult, it was like over your head. Like, wow, this one was really racist and it was bad. I did not like it. Anyway, so then it kind of made me afraid to like pick this one up because I was like, oh no, another book around the same time period, also by a white person, written about India. Okay. I loved these books as a kid, but I don't think I'm going to read this. I just don't like historical fiction written about real people. The Ladies of Mandrigen? What a name. By Barbara Hambly. When the women of the city of Mandrigen, led by Shira Gil Gailernez, hired the mercenary army of Captain Sunwolf. You know what Captain Sunwolf? I picture Captain Sunwolf to look like. Um, what's the guy in this? What's the love interest? Drake. This is Captain Sunwolf. Because he like rides around on his wolf and his big wolf. and 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 he and the person that he's interested in, Princess Guinevere, um her sign is like the sun. So he's Captain Sunwolf. It makes perfect sense. You've never seen this show before? It's so good. I love this show so much. Um, this is Captain Sunwolf. So just imagine this. Hired by the mercenary army of Captain Sunwolf to help them rescue their men from the mines of evil, he refused. Little did he realize how insistent the ladies could be, and how far they would go to persuade him to train them against the evils of Teoxis. Yeah. That's why I thought of him. But yeah, Princess Guinevere and the Jewel Riders is the name of the show. I think if I play it, I mean, I don't get, it's not like I'm monetized or anything. So if I play it, I don't know if anything bad happens, but I don't know if my thing will get taken down. I'm just trying to see. I don't think that I have noise for audio capture anyway. But yeah, okay. But I'll link it in the chat for you. I don't know if it will take my video down because it will like copyright claim it or something. I don't think so. I don't think it would, but anyway, there's the theme song and it's so good. Anyway, I grew up with this TV show. I didn't have TV as a kid growing up, but I did have VHS tapes. And my friend had this VHS tape of a couple of them. There's so we would borrow them and watch them. This is what I grew up with, but this is what I don't know how YouTube copyright claims works these days either. I have no idea. I think mostly they let you keep stuff up and they just like take all the monetary stuff from it. I think is often how it works. But I don't get money from my videos. So, I don't know. But I hear some people say that videos get taken down still, so I don't know. Anyway, Captain Sunwolf. I did not even comprehend what this was about because I was too busy laughing about Captain Sunwolf. But yeah, Princess Guinevere and the Jewel Riders is. You still have VHS tapes in the box TV. I tell the kids that the TV is older than you are. Yeah. I know. Chris gets so annoyed sometimes when we like sit down to watch something and it like isn't loading right away or like it disconnects or something and I'm just like Aren't you just happy that you don't have to like rewind this for 2 minutes before you start? Like, aren't you just glad? Like, just calm down. It's okay. Like, you don't have to be mad about that. Like, it's just like, just be glad that we have our modern conveniences. Like, it's okay that it takes 15 seconds to load. We'll survive, I promise. He's so impatient. Captain Sunwolf. Rescue their men. Interesting. Okay, so this is A Love by Tamara Pierce and Patricia C. Reedy. Okay, so this Barbara Hamley is the author of um Dragonsbane, which I own. I think I own this one too. Yeah, so I think I'm gonna leave it on my TBR because I do own it, but I don't feel committed to it. So if I don't get to it within the next few years, I'm not saying it won't go. Maybe I'll do like try a chapter with it or something. I think I might try some of those. Fantasy. It says it's also romance. You upgraded a lot of your VHS to DVD and Blu-ray, but what you couldn't upgrade, you kept, and also random stuff you recorded on TV from back in the day. That was most of what my family had. Is like we had cable. It was before I was had memory. So either from when I was 5 or younger, when we had cable for like a year, and we recorded a shit ton of stuff off of the TV. And then we had like 100 VHS tapes of movies off of the TV. And that's what we watched. And hey, it worked. But I think you're very smart to keep all your physical media. Don't, yeah. Not, I mean, not that you're taking advice from me, but I would say, yeah, hold on to that. I know so many people got rid of stuff and then are like, damn, I wish I had kept stuff. Alright, I think I'm just gonna go for like 10 more minutes and then cut off because I need to make dinner. But yeah, we hardly have any physical media anymore. We have like a little bit. We just didn't watch it very much. Just because I don't watch TV. Like we would have kept more if I watched stuff, but we didn't. So we kept some stuff, but we got rid of a lot of stuff when we moved because we weren't using it. I'm not saying that like we were getting rid of stuff. I've seen so many people say that they like got rid of a bunch of stuff like 10 years ago or 15 years ago and then are like really devastated about it now. But yeah, we held on to stuff for the last 10 years like at that apartment, we lived in that apartment from like 2016 to like 2014, and then we got rid of a bunch of stuff when we moved because we were like, we're not using it. um but that's just because I don't watch stuff. I'm not a TV person. I only watch TV when I'm with other people. That's how I enjoy consuming stuff, is with other people. I'm not a solo watcher. Okay. Edith Hamilton mythology, timeless tales of gods and heroes. Dive into the timeless tales of gods and heroes in this best-selling. It's an A to Z encyclopedia. Oh, okay. Can it be just read straight through? Okay, yeah, I guess people are just straight up just reading this. Um, yeah, that's so funny. I know. I wish people would keep their comments to themselves though. It's so annoying. That's been me forever. Everybody commenting on how many books I own and how it's too much, and I'm like, mind your business. You're not the one reading them. Okay. Oh, that's so pretty. That's not what I meant to click on. Stop it. Okay. Um. Yeah, I think it'll be worth reading. We do own this because my husband has it from college. I think he has a bunch of God books from college. He took some kind of religion class. 50 inventions that shaped the modern economy. A lively history seen through the 50 inventions that shaped it most profoundly. Who thought up paper money? A scammer? What was the secret element that made the Gutenberg printing press possible? What is the secret connection between the Da Vinci Code and the collapse of the Lehman Brothers? You just like to tell people that what you spend your money on and they spend their money on different things that they do not interest you. A scammer, a lie was not told. Well, it literally, like, it's all just fake. Ugh. I don't know. It sounds like Tim Harford is a scammer too. And I'm also trying to get away from like this. It seems like it's trying to be like, I don't know, America and European exceptionalism and stuff, and like anything before, I don't know, England colonized everywhere was not advanced and sophisticated and was just, I don't know, savages killing each other and stuff. Like, I'm trying to get out of reading books that have this like colonizer lens and stuff. So it sounds like that's gonna be like these are the inventions that got us to this great world we live in now. And it's like, am I glad for having the luxuries I have now? Anyway, yes, but also I don't know. Don't love how some, I feel like you know what I'm trying to say, and I feel like we're not phrasing things well. What am I cooking for dinner? You have tuna sandwich and chocolate milk. Very nice. Chris would approve. That sounds like his, not his ideal meal, but that sounds like a meal he would love. He loves a tuna sandwich and he loves chocolate milk. I don't like tuna sandwich very much because I feel like it often has celery in it, and I think celery is heinous. Yeah, and a lot of white people took credit for it and didn't actually invent both of those, and a lot of, I don't know. It's just, I'm just trying to be more mindful of like what I'm consuming and what like perspective I'm coming into things with. I was gonna make soup for dinner, potato soup. It says it will take an hour to make, but I it will probably take me longer than that, but that's how long it says it will take. I'm skeptical. It says it will take 20 minutes for prep and 30 minutes for cooking, and I'm like, really? Okay. You only eat tuna with mustard and mayonnaise. Yeah. Chris will just order a tuna sandwich anywhere, and I'm very scared of tuna sandwiches anywhere. Okay. Stranger in a Strange Land. This is another author that I've heard skeptical things about, but I do want to try a couple of his things because I've heard good things as well about them. But I think I'll have to do some research. The two that I'm interested in is Have Spacesuit Will Travel and Stranger in a Strange Land. Those are the two I want to try. And then after that, I don't know if I'm interested, but I've heard some iffy things about him. A human raised on Mars, Valentine Michael Smith, has just arrived on planet Earth. Among his people for the first time, he struggles to understand the social mores and prejudices of human nature that are so alien to him. While his own psi powers, including telepathy, clairvoyance, telekinesis, and teleportation, make him a type of messiah figure among humans, Stranger in a Strange Land grew from a cult favorite. What? This is like fantasy shit. I didn't know that. Yes, it's soup season. Troopers? I haven't seen it. It has really high ratings. And a lot of ratings for such high ratings. The Puppet Masters. What a great title. Like, maybe I will read more. And I'm not saying that I don't think people should read, like, problematic authors or whatever. I'm just trying to, like, myself be more mindful about, like, where I'm putting my energy. And then also with, like, authors like this, like, he's been dead for a really long time. He died before I was even born. Like, whether I read all of his books and loved every single one, like, he's not getting a penny out of it. So I think there's also, like, a difference when an author isn't actually alive to, like, reap the benefits of the financials. So, I don't know. Anyway, I'm not trying to, like, moralize and judge everybody for, like, what they're reading and stuff. I'm just, like, personally on a mission to just, like, try to spend my time in ways that I feel better about. Because I feel like there's so many books I want to read, and I want to make sure I'm spending them in good ways. But this book sounds freaking crazy. Yeah. That's the difference. It's a lot easier to read a book when the author's dead. When they're alive, it's, yeah. Like, I don't want to read you because you're awful. Is this a classic? How old is it? Yeah, it is a classic. Based off of my arbitrary standards, which I decided was 75? Classic, fantasy, sci-fi. Oh no. What's his name? It starts with an S. Nicholas Sparks being an asshole? Probably. That's who wrote A Walk to Remember, right? Alright, I want to finish Nosferatu. A spine-tingling novel of supernatural suspense from master of horror Joe Hills. Victoria McQueen has a secret gift for finding things: a misplaced bracelet, a missing photograph, answers to unanswerable questions on her rawly tough burner bike. She makes her way to a rickety covered bridge that within moments takes her wherever she needs to go, whether it's across Massachusetts or across the country. Holy crap. Charles Talent Max. Why do we need these whole fucking names in the synopsis? Has a way with children. He likes to take them for rides. Ugh. In his 1938 Rolls-Royce Wraith with the Nosferatu vanity plate. With his old car, he can slip right out of the everyday world and onto hidden roads that transport them into an astonishing and terrifying playground of amusement he calls Christmasland. Then one day, Vic goes looking for trouble and finds Max. That was a lifetime ago. Now Vic, the only kid to ever escape Max's unmitigated evil, is all grown up and desperate to forget. But Charlie Max never stopped thinking about Victoria McQueen. He's on the road again, and he's picked up a new passenger, Vic's own son. Ugh. sounds horrific. Oh, it's really long. Sorry if I blew out your eardrums. I apologize. Oh my gosh. You're only eating tuna. I love that you're like, I cannot let Giselle go without letting them know I am not eating tuna that anyone else touches but me. Oh, that's so funny. That's great. I've never seen this cover with this like cookie on it before. Gingerbread cookie. It really gets across the Christmas land. Yeah, I've never read Joe Hill either. I I think it's probably very good, like everyone says. But I don't think the kind of horror, like, I'm getting way more into horror than I ever did before. I don't think the kind of horror that's for me is the kind of horror that has, like, child killers and pedophiles in it. I don't think I can do it. Plus it's really long, and I don't think also the kind of horror. That's not true. One of my favorite horror books is like 500 pages. The Shauna McGuire, the Mira Grant one. Into the Drowning Deep is a long horror, and I love it. It's one of my favorite. 450 pages. So that's not true. I can like long horror, but I think most of the time, like, I don't want a super long horror. So I think I am gonna delete it, but I can understand why it would be really appealing to people. I don't know if I'm gonna add another Joe Hill ever to my TBR. Maybe I could try his short stories or something at some point, but I think for now I'm good to just like let it go. Because I don't think I can do a child molester story, which is what it sounds like. Unfortunately. Yeah, Chris has read a bunch of Joe Hill stuff though, and he really likes Joe Hill, but I have not. Anyway, that's good. We finished another page. We're on page 13 out of 65. And we were at like 1950, and now we're in 1930, so we deleted like 20 books off of the TBR. Which means I can add like 20 more. That's how that goes, right? It's such a problem. But for real now, I went for like 10 more minutes than I said, so thanks for hanging out. But I'm gonna go. I'm gonna make some food. It will be delicious and cozy. And I have homemade bread to go with it. Just basic white homemade bread, but it's so yummy. And, yeah, I think that's everything. And we're a good amount of books from yesterday I ended right at 2020. And now there's like a whole heap of books from 2020, which is excellent. I added so many books in these couple days because at the very bottom of this page, 30 books later, it's only been 2 days. So just on those 2 days, I was like, so many books I need to add. Anyway, the never-ending wish list, exactly. All right, thank thank you. I appreciate you hanging out with me. Good night, Keisha. Have a great time for your rest of your night. And good luck, or good luck. Good job on finishing some of your wish list pages as well. And take care. I will see y'all in another chat sometime soon. Bye.